So this game is a perfect example of watching my team lose and kind of feeling okay about it. There's a few reasons why. Number one, they do get a point because they lost in overtime. And number two, it was against the Buffalo Sabres, a team that they are not allowed to beat for some reason. And the team has been playing well, man. They've won 7 in a row. So, this was a really close game. It was really tight, and it could have easily went either way. I can't be too upset about it. Obviously, you never want to see your team lose, but they got a point. It was hard fought, and the commentators, McLennan and Matt Cullen, they kept saying it throughout the entire broadcast. This was a very close, hard fought game, and I can't really feel too bad about it, right? Now, if it was like the last time they played against each other when they lost 8-4, then that'd be a little bit different. But low scoring, pretty low event at times, and yeah, I kind of feel okay about this one. So, Tuesday, December 23rd, the Sens played their 36th game of the season against the Buffalo Sabres. It was a 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern start time. So, this was the second meeting of the season between these two teams, and as mentioned, in the last game, the Sabres won 8-4. This was back on October 15th, so this game was much closer tonight, which I'm a fan of. So starting goalies were Linus Ullmark for the Sens and Alex Lyon for the Sabres. The Sens were 18, 13, and 4 coming into tonight. 8, 6, and 2 at home. Now 8, 6, and 3 at home. And the Sabres were 17, 14, and 4 coming in, and 6, 9, and 2 on the road. So not a great road record, but these two teams have almost identical records, by the way, after tonight. So which you will see in a minute here. So, as far as lineup notes go, Clevin was still not playing. Pinto still not playing either. I heard that he is close, apparently. I don't know what close means, so hopefully he is back sooner than later, and same with Clevin for that matter. And of course, Josh Norris was in the lineup for Buffalo tonight, and this is the first time he has played against Ottawa in Ottawa. I don't know if it's the first time he's played against Ottawa. I think it might be. I feel like I should know this. But I know it's the first time he has played against the Sens in Ottawa, so there you go. And yeah, again, I really don't feel too bad about this one. Hard fought game. It was close. So yeah, really not too much to complain about. Alright, so let's go ahead and break down tonight's game and get into the stats. So the Sens lose in overtime by a score of 3-2 to the Sabres in overtime, so they do get a point, which is huge with the way the standings are. And this is what I mean. Look at their records. They are almost identical. So the Sabres 18, 14, and 4. The Sens are 18, 13, and 5. So almost the exact same record. It's just insane. And when you look at the stats, you can tell this game was insanely close. So shots were 26-25 in favor of the Sens. Face-off dot, the Sens do dominate once again, 56.3% compared to 43.8% for the Sabres. Power plays, Sabres were 0 for 1, Sens were 1 for 3, so another power play goal for the Sens there. Penalty kill was perfect. And then the penalty minutes were 8-4, 8 for the Sabres, 4 for the Sens. Hits were 19-15 in favor of the Sens. Block shots 16-9 in favor of the Sabres. And again, I keep looking at the site because I say this every video, I feel like, but they tend to update the stats later on sometimes, so just double checking things. So giveaways were 11-5 with the Sabres having fewer, and takeaways were 5-4 in favor of the Sens. So these two teams will not meet again for a while, not till April 2nd, and that'll be in Ottawa, and that'll be the third and final meeting between these two teams. And I'm I'm glad they don't play again for a while because this is just one of those teams the Sens can't beat. I don't know what it is. There's those teams that you do really well against, you always beat them, and there's teams that you don't do well against and you never beat them, right? So for the Sabres, or for Ottawa, I should say, the Sabres are one of those teams that they just can't beat. I don't know what it is. I think they've lost, I believe it's 6 in a row now against the Sabres, so, right? But again, like I said, the Sabres are playing quite well. They have the longest current winning streak in the league, I'm pretty sure. I'm just double checking that real quick. Yes, they do have the longest winning streak, 7 in a row for the Sabres. So, I mean, again, you can't feel too bad, right? So, we will go into my notes here. We will run through the game. So, there was a shot by Buffalo that would come off the boards, and then Benson got a good chance, and that was a big glove save by Allmark. So, this was a pretty tight checking game to start off. There's not really a lot of great chances for either team. There are some shots, but really no high danger chances for anyone early on. So during the first commercial break, they showed a video tribute for Josh Norris, and they didn't even cut away for a commercial. They actually showed the video tribute, which I thought, oh, they don't usually do that. I don't think, right? Usually they'll show it like later on or something, but I thought that was nice. That was a nice touch. My personal opinion on Josh Norris, I just wish he could stay healthy, man. He always gets hurt, and it's so unfortunate because he's a good player. He has a ridiculously good shot. We've seen it. We know. As a Sens fan, I know. But yeah, I just wish he could stay healthy, man. But yeah, that was definitely a very classy move by the Sens there with the video tribute. So, after that, there was a big hit on Krebs by Zub, and this was close to a hit from behind. I thought maybe they could have called this, but they didn't. And then there was a pass by Spence down low to Zetterlund, and he missed a one-timer. This was a really good chance here. He actually missed the net on this. So then Dylan Cousins would get some space. He has a partial break, but he was stopped by Lyon. Then Ottawa would have a shot that was stopped, and then a rebound was stopped as well by Lyon. And then Samuelson for Buffalo would get a good shot. That was stopped by Allmark. So this is kind of funny. Usually it's me. Usually I'm the one that jinxes things, but it was actually Jamie McLennan tonight this time. So he was talking about how both goalies were looking pretty good so far, and they were. They were both stopping everything. Nobody has scored to this point. And legit, like a second later, like 2 seconds later, there's a pass down low to Byram, and he buries it into basically a wide open net. Right after McLennan says that, I'm like, are you kidding me? And by the way, about Bowen Byram, there's a really weird and crazy stat I will be reading off at the end, towards the end of this, so look out for that. So yeah, Byram scores at the 15:22 mark. Greenway and Dunn drawing the assist there, and the Sabres go up 1-0. But like it was such a close game all night, tight checking, hard fought. So the Sabres go up 1-0. So there was Dylan Cousins. He would get a good look, and he was stopped. And then Sens would get a 2-on-1, and Greg would make a very nice move, very nice play on this rush, and he would score on the backhand. I'm just like, oh my god, dude, Greg needed this so badly. That's just his third goal of the season. So Greg scoring at the 17:13 mark of the first period, and Giroux drawing the assist there. Yeah, Greg needs that one big time. He had just 2 goals coming into tonight, so that's a big one for Greg, and that would tie the game up at 1. So there was a scrum in front of the Buffalo bench, and Tkachuk and Kesselring got offsetting minors here. We would play 4-on-4. Tkachuk, something like there was like blood on his neck or something. I don't know what happened. I don't know what that was from, but yeah, it ends up being 4-on-4 after this. So Shabbat would make a strong play to the net, but he was stopped. And then back the other way, Power would have a good chance, and he was all alone in front, but he was stopped. So both goalies are looking really good, even though they both allowed 1. Just such a close game, so tight. So like I said, hard fought. There you go, I can speak. So the shots in that first period end up being 12-11 for Buffalo, and we are tied at 1 going into the first intermission. So rolling on to the second period here, Zetterlund would lose the puck and it would get caught up with the ref here, and this would lead to an odd man rush for Buffalo, but they don't score on it. I'm just like, my God, what the heck was that? That was weird. Like, come on. I just wrong place, wrong time for the ref there, but and then back the other way, the Sens would get a one-timer. Did not put down who the player was, but that was a good stop by Lyon. So Matt and Paolo would take a cross-checking penalty. Buffalo would go to the power play, and they do not score on the power play tonight, of course. Or were they 0 for 1? Yeah, they were 0 for 1 tonight. Okay, just double checking that. So Buffalo would have some good zone time, and they get some good looks, but they don't score. So it's a good kill for the Sens. So right around here, that second period, right? You never know what you're gonna get with this team. Um, the Sabres were starting to take over just a little bit here. There's a lot of zone time for them. The Sens aren't really doing too much early on. So there was a point shot from Byram. Again, I'm going to be saying his name a few times. This point shot is going maybe like 5 feet wide of the net. And Ostlund would end up tipping this in for a 2-1 Sabres lead. This was a heck of a tip by Ostlund. I'm like, wow. Like this thing is going like it's going like this, and then Ostlund tips it this way. Heck of a tip by him. So Noah Ostlund scoring at the 6:11 mark from Byram and Tuck, and that would give the Sabres a 2-1 lead. So then, shortly after that goal, Batherson would make a nice play to get a shot away, but he doesn't score here. That was a nice move by him, though. He almost had one. And then Kesselring would end up tripping Zetterlund, so the Sens go back to the power play. And then on the power play, guess what? He's back. Stützle is left wide open. There is nobody anywhere near him. He is in the slot. I'm just like, what the heck? Like, I'm not complaining. I'm a Sens fan. I'm wearing a Stützle jersey right now, but he is left absolutely wide open. There's no one close to him. And he would end up getting the puck. He took his time, and he placed it perfectly. He would shoot this wrist shot, a laser off the post and in, and this would tie the game at 2. So Stützle scores at the 9:27 mark of the second period, his 18th of the season for number 18, of course. And Batherson and Dylan Cousins would draw the assist there, and we're tied up at 2. So the game starts to enter a bit of a sleepy phase here. Of course, it stayed 2-2 for a while. And there's a lot of stoppages, a lot of icings, and it's just like, it felt like these two teams were playing for overtime. So Benson would end up high-sticking Batherson way behind the play, like way, not even close to the puck. So the Sens go back to the power play again. So there was a pass across to Tkachuk, and he would just miss a one-timer here. So the Sabres do end up killing this off, but there was just a little bit too much passing on this power play for me. Just their power play has been good. They did score tonight, which is good, but just on this one particularly, I didn't like how much passing there was on this one. So yeah, that one does get killed off by Buffalo. So Matt and Paolo would have, he would go down the wing and he would get a good shot here. That was stopped by Lyon. And then Chabot skates through the neutral zone, goes coast to coast, and he would ring this one right off the post. So, like, what a rush for Chabot there. That could have easily went in. And yeah, we do finish the second period. We are tied at 2. The shots were 8-8 in the second period. So, again, just insanely close. I know I keep using the term hard fought, but that's exactly what this game was. Very hard fought, very tight checking. So we roll on to the third period. There was no scoring in the third period, of course. And the first thing I have for my notes, it's a very low event. It's very tight checking to start the period. There's not a whole lot going on. So Matt and Paolo would end up chopping the puck out of play, but it was deflected. And there were a few of these tonight where it's like a guy would hit the puck, deflect it out of play. There was like 3 or 4 of those tonight, so just an odd thing. I don't know. Happened a few times tonight, but none of them were penalties because they were deflected. So Stützle would make a strong play to the net. He gets knocked down and crashes into the boards. It looked kind of bad at first, but he was okay. He would get up. He was fine, so nothing to worry about there. But I was kind of holding my breath for a second. Like, we don't need this now. So then Kachuk would get a great chance from about the hash marks, but he was stopped by Lyon. And then Batherson would get a great look from the slot, and he would miss the net here. This was a golden opportunity for Batherson, but he missed. And still to this point in the period, it's very tight checking. There's not a whole lot going on really in this period at all. So I put in my notes here, so who's going to blink first? Right? That's kind of what it felt like. So we are 14 minutes into the third period, and the shots are just 3-3. Like, there's nothing going on, really. Just very tight checking, and you could tell these two teams were playing for overtime. At least that's what it felt like. So Dylan Cousins would get a great chance from the slot, but he was knocked down in front, and then Batherson, or sorry, no, Dylan Cousins gets a great chance from the slot. It was knocked down, it was blocked in front, and then Batherson was absolutely robbed on the rebound here. Like, Lyon is down and out. I'm like, if he gets this up just a little bit more, it's probably in. But that, what a heck of a save by Lyon there. Like, that's just, man, like, what can you even say? Like, he's down and out, but he still makes a save on the rebound. Just crazy. So then Tuck would get called for hooking with 1:51 left in the third period, and this was their chance, right? I felt like if the Sens do not score here, they're probably losing this game, and I was right. And this power play too, man. Like, I know they scored tonight, but this power play too, there's just way too much passing, and it's like, which way are you looking at it, right? Because like, you have a power play, the game is tied, there's less than 2 minutes to play, you're against a division rival. It's like, do you just go for it? Do you go for that win? Do you try to prevent your division rival from gaining a point? Or do you play it safe and try to make sure you guarantee 1 point? And it kind of seemed like they were just trying to guarantee that 1 point. But you're also guaranteeing your division rival a point. So it's like, you know what I mean? I don't know. I wish they were shooting more on this power play, but just way too much passing for my liking. Pretty much, Kachuk had a chance down low, decent chance, and that was pretty much it for that power play. So this would end up carrying over into overtime. So the shots in the third period, just 7-4 for the Sens. Really not too much going on in that third period. So, as mentioned, we do go to overtime, and there was 9 seconds of power play time that carried over. Nothing really happened there. Both of these teams, by the way, were 2-4 in overtime coming into tonight. So Sens are now 2-5. So that might be that's a bit of a concern. I mean, that's 5 points they lost there in overtime. So they might want to work on 3-on-3 just a little bit, maybe just a tip. So yes, the power play expires 9 seconds into the period. So we would play 4-on-4. So Buffalo gains the zone, and there was a pass across to Byram, and he one-times it. He fans on it, but it goes in. It goes in. He fans on it, but it goes in. So what I said earlier about the crazy weird stat with Byram, listen to this one. So in his career against Linus Ullmark, he has 4 shots, 4 goals. Yep, 2 of them tonight. Makes sense of it. And this was just I don't know. He fans on it. It's like it's a change up for Allmark, right? He's sliding out of position, but it goes in. It goes in. So yeah, a bit of a deflating goal. Byram does win it 31 seconds into overtime. McLeod and Samuelson draw the assist there. Just again, what a crazy stat. 4 goals on 4 shots for Byram in his career against Allmark. Like, what? What even is that? But, yeah, that's pretty much it for my notes. So let's go ahead and run through the 3 stars. So, of course, the first star of the game is Byram. He had 2 goals and an assist. Second star of the game was Greg. He had the first goal for the Sens. And the third star of the game was Alex Lyon. He had a 923 save percentage, so he played really good tonight. I mean, both goalies did, really. Alright, so going into the box score here for the Sens. Let's see. So our point getters for forwards. So Stutzla and Greg had a goal. Giroux, Dylan Cousins, and Batherson all had 1 assist. There were no points from the defense tonight. Plus minus, no defenseman was a plus, and then Spence and Chabot were -2. Okay. And then plus minus for forwards, we got Amadio, Giroux, and Greg were +1. That line looked really good tonight. They did. And then we've got Zetterlund, Nick Cousins, McDermott, and Halliday all -1. I don't think I heard McDermott's name once. Actually, hey, hold on. Kachuk and Stutzel are also -2, but legit, like I'm looking at McDermott now. Okay, he played 240. I know he doesn't play a lot, but legit, I think I saw him. The camera showed him on the bench once, and that was the only time I saw him. It's like, but again, I know he doesn't play a lot to begin with, but still, it's like, what the heck? I almost forgot he was even playing tonight. So, ice time, leading the forwards in ice time was Stutzla with 21:41. And leading the forwards, defense in ice time was Chabot this time, not Sanderson. So Chabot had 23:24. It's having Chabot back is huge. I can take a load off of Sanderson, so... Alright, leading the defense in shots was Matt Palo. He had 2. And leading the forwards in shots was Kachuk with 6. And block shots for forwards, we have Stutzla, Zetterlund, Greg, and Dylan Cousins, all with 1. And blocks for defense, Chabot had 3. And defenseman hit leader was Zub with 2. And then leading the forwards in hits was Halliday, actually, with 3. Well, that's good to see. I like that. And that's pretty much it for that. So we look at the save percentage for Ullmark. It ends up being another rough save percentage, 22 out of 25 for an 880 save percentage. So, I mean, again, the overtime winner, I would like to see him make that save, but it's like it's a weird one. It's like a knuckleball. It's, I don't know. You can't really blame him too much on the goals. And again, at the end of the day, I'll say it again. Very close game, 3-2 overtime loss, and the Sabres are just one of those teams that the Sens can't beat, right? I mean, what can you do? And then you got Byram with his 4 goals on his 4 shots against Ullmark, just crazy. But yeah, this is a Buffalo team that's playing very well right now. They've won 7 in a row, and again, I can't feel too bad about this one, but. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. So let's go take a look at the standings now. So again, these two teams have almost identical records. So the Sens, 18, 13, and 5, they are 1 point out of the wild card spot. So, and of course Buffalo, they're only 2 points out. Now, if I look at the Atlantic Division, this division is just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So you got the Red Wings in first with 47 points, and you got the Leafs in 37 with 37 points. They're in last. But like, I just can't get over how insanely close this is, because like, you got to think the Leafs are going to get better at some point. And speaking of the Leafs, guess what? Guess what? The next game for the Sens is not going to be until Saturday, December 27th, because obviously we have the Christmas break. And it's going to be against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's the first time they have met this season, which feels really weird to say after Christmas, but yeah. I'm just going to say this right now. I've never done a review on a Sens and Leafs game, but well, let's just put it this way. I'm a Sens fan, diehard Sens fan, and I have made it very clear how much I do not like the Leafs. So that, depending on what happens in that game, that I could get pretty heated in that review, but it depends what happens, right? So, not a fan of the Leafs. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes. And, yeah, so that's pretty much it for this one. Again, hard fought game. I think both teams played very well, and you could tell too, like it's two teams that have been playing well, right? Like the Sens came in having won four in a row, the Sabres won six in a row coming in, and you could tell they were two teams that were playing very well, and they both played very well again tonight. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this one, guys. So, of course, this will be the final Sens game before Christmas. So, I do want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a safe holiday. So, as mentioned, the Sens will be back at it on Saturday, December 27th in Toronto to face the Leafs for the first time this season. And one more side note, I want to make sure I mention this in this video. I did say it in the last review video. So the World Juniors will be starting on Boxing Day. Now, in the event the Sens are playing while Team Canada is playing, Team Canada will be taking priority. If that does happen, I'm sure it will at some point, but yeah, so there might be a shorter review video here and there, kind of like what I did when the World Series was going on with the Blue Jays. So yeah, do look out for that because I get very invested in the juniors every year. I look forward to it every year. So yes, anyways, that is pretty much it. The Sens fall to the Sabres by a score of 3-2 in overtime, and yeah, it's two teams that are playing very well. What can I say, right? Anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Merry Christmas, and go Sens go.